So brilliant. Wonderful. So here we are. So I want to try to share a little a Tibetan children's story, but it's illuminating. Some of you might like stories, but it's quite a long one, so I'm going to make it quite concise. So for some reason, we could think of it like a beautiful garden on one of the Scottish islands off the west coast, transcribing the Tibetan story. Okay? So there's this beautiful garden, and someone lands from the ferry, and they see they're angry person, so they see the garden, and all it does is make them really angry. The sun is shining, the flowers are beautiful, and I'm feeling like a psychopath. I want to cut all the flowers. How can this be so beautiful when I'm so angry? And they might even actually start kicking the flowers down, okay? So then somebody comes who, what in Tibetan they call like hungry ghost mentality, someone who's full of craving. So they come to this beautiful garden on the west coast, they land on the ferry, and then they're almost whining like, why can't my garden be like this? These snapdragons are 3 foot high, mine are only 2'11". And I'm just not good enough. It's not just my garden, it's me. I'm not enough. And they're weeping, feeling, I wish I had a garden like this, maybe. Then somebody comes along who's very kind of in denial about what's going on around them. And so they've got their wireless headphones on. Maybe they've got like these kind of virtual reality headsets, and they're in this blissful space in their headset while they're walking over and trampling down all of the flowers, completely ignoring the environment around them. So then somebody comes along who's very much into being like a very busy, restless, never satisfied human being, okay? So they're feeling, this is such a rubbish garden. It would be perfect if it was good for blind people. What have they got against blind people here? All of these roses should have a fragrance, and none of this is a flagrant, terrible thing because all of these flowers don't have the fragrance. I'm going to start a petition about this garden because it's not good for blind people. There's no aromatic, fragrant roses here. Then the jealous person comes along, and they're bringing their jealousy to the garden, and again it could manifest as they start to try and destroy the plants, and they've got no peace of mind because their jealousy won't let them rest, because they're comparing and judging this garden on the island against their garden back home. Maybe they haven't got a garden, maybe they've got a flat, they're even more jealous. And then somebody who's very self-absorbed comes along and they says, isn't it wonderful that they built this garden for me? Just me. They've spent 3 years building up this fantastic garden just so that my lovely eyes, could see this. And then somebody else comes to the garden and then they say, well, look at my garden. They own it so much that they're blissful in the delusion that the garden is theirs, and they lie like this garden is all my handiwork. So the thing is, our emotions become a habit. And so a meditator comes off the ferry and notices there's a beautiful bench and a fountain, and they just sit and enjoy the beauty of the sky. And they hear the birds singing. Nobody's done that yet. because they're all self-absorbed in their emotions that they can't hear the nuthatch or the blackbird or the reed warbler. Do you see what I'm trying to get at? That the emotions become self-absorption, and we're so much living in the simulation reality of our emotional life that it colours everything we see, and it affects the mood about where we go. But if we can be open-minded, we can enjoy our lives much more, rather than bringing, what is it they say at the airport, check in your emotional baggage before you fly. So if we let go of our emotional baggage, we can enjoy the garden, and we can hear. We're coming home to our senses. We can hear. Instead of our emotions are so powerful that we can become self-absorbed in our simulation reality, so that we're alienated from the actual world we're living in. So the emotional intelligence is self-awareness, is like if you're losing the plot, getting jealous, you can just immediately identify the jealousy. You don't identify with the jealousy. You think maybe, or you feel proud in a good way, like to be a skillful meditator. You've seen the mud of the jealousy and you've been able to let it go. But then maybe you could ask for some seed from the snapdragons on the island to take home. So it's inclusive. You've transformed the jealousy. You can transform the anger. You can transform the self-absorption. So the story is about waking up to your life. This is so gorgeous here, isn't it? Even that tree out there, those trees with the cat underneath the trees on the roof. That this present moment is our. This present moment is the very best teacher. The past is over. It's gone. The past is just how we approach, what attitude we have to the past. Forgiveness is giving up all hope of a better past. Forgiveness is giving up all hope of a better past. And the future hasn't happened yet. In the present moment is our salvation, because we can let go of self-importance, self-obsession. So sometimes they say the essence of the whole Buddha's teachings is how to let go of self-importance, self-obsession. Self-obsession. And so it's almost, you could say that the path is like a purification that of being able to let go of our styles of self-absorption. And so I thought I'd just read the poem She Let Go by Sapphire Rose. Some of you might be familiar with this. She let go. Without a thought or a word, she let go. She let go of fear. She let go of the judgments. She let go of the confluence of opinions swarming around her head. She let go of the committee of indecision within her. She let go of all of the right reasons, wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry. She just let go. She didn't ask anyone for advice. She didn't read a book on how to let go. She didn't search the scriptures. She just let go. She let go of all of the memories that held her back. She let go of all of the anxiety that kept her from moving forward. She let go of the planning and all of the calculations about how to do it just right. She didn't promise to let go. She didn't journal about it. She didn't write the projected date in her day timer. She made no public announcement and put no ad in the newspaper. She didn't check the weather report or read her daily horoscope. She just let go. She didn't analyse whether she should let go. She didn't call her friends to discuss the matter. She didn't do a 5-step spiritual mind treatment. She didn't call the prayer line. She didn't utter a word. She just let go. No one was around when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked her or praised her. No one noticed a thing. Like a leaf falling from a tree, she just let go. There was no effort. There was no struggle. It wasn't good and it wasn't bad. It was what it was, and it is just that. In the space of letting go, she let it all be, and a small smile came over her face. A light breeze blew through her, and the sun and the moon shone forevermore. So sometimes they say purification is simply a matter of letting go. It's like each of us is an electromagnetic being, and we cling on to the emotions out of a sense of insecurity. We're like a silkworm, self-mummifying, spinning and spinning and spinning all of what will eventually become silk around us, so that we're like walking mummies. With all respect, sorry, I mean, walking. But this self-mummification, sorry. This self-mummification can happen because it's just a habit that the self-absorption, we cling because it gives us a little bit of a sense of security. I know where I exist because I'm an angry person, I'm a jealous person. And so it takes a lot of courage to let go. But if we can meditate every day, it's like coming back to zero with fresh intelligence. Back to zero. Wipe the slate clean. Back to zero with a fresh intelligence, like what is happening now? Like I can see the sunlight on the orange bag over the other side of the room, and I can be grateful for my eyes that I can see. I can be grateful that all of you are here, in the here and now. But if I'm lost in thoughts, they become emotions, and then if I was having a panic attack here, you wouldn't be existing, because my energy would follow focus, and I would be so much in my emotion that I would be oblivious to all of your kindnesses. That's how much we can become so absorbed in the harmful emotions, and they're quite addictive, and they become habits. So the historical Buddha, he said, interestingly, look at yourself. What is your predominant habit? Sometimes Trungpa Rinpoche called it styles of imprisonment. Is it anger? Is it a sense of not being good enough? Is it a sense of being easily distracted? Or is it a sense of being ever restless, always seeking perfection, never satisfied, never knowing what it is to stop? Or you could ask yourself, am I jealous? Am I jealous? Moi? Am I jealous? Or am I arrogant? Do I think I'm better than others? Is that my style of imprisonment? And then you work on that first. That was the ancient Buddha's teaching. You could be an expert on how to deal with anger, but if your problem is jealousy, you haven't done any work on the one part that's the most important part. So that's self-awareness, self-mastery. See, that's how it fits together. If you look at yourself, how we can get caught up in these styles of imprisonment, we put ourselves in jail. All of the beauty that's all around us, we can ignore if we're self-absorbed, because we're taking it all personally. And of course, don't misunderstand what I'm trying to share here. The journey is from being like the separate self to the awakened self. So if you lose the anger, the flip side of anger is compassion. If you lose the greed, the flip side is gratitude. So you become who you were destined to be, who you really are, which is love, courage, compassion, kindness, and calmness or equanimity. So this is how to be your authentic, true self, by letting go of the habits, cutting the ties that bind you, cutting through the mummification aspect, so that instead of being busy shielding yourself from the world, like with your defense mechanisms, you can open your heart to the world around you. So the imagery I'd like here is like, supposing you're going on a holiday to Ibiza and you borrow a suit of armour from Stirling Castle. Those. You probably have trouble with the metal detector at the airport, but you've got your visa, haven't you? You're the geezer with the visa going through the checkout zone. But supposing they let you onto the airplane, so then you're on the beach, say in Ibiza, and you're wearing your polished suit of armour. So then you're like lobster thermidor, aren't you? You're boiling up inside. And instead of getting all the vitamin D off the sun, you just get heat stroke. So what I'm trying to suggest is an open mind is like a source of vitamin D for the soul. That all of the energy is all around us. Like even Albert Einstein said, don't let the intellect, no, I'm paraphrasing here, but don't let the intellect come between you and the mystery of being, this wonderful mystery of being. Like just even those trees outside the back there, how, incredible handiwork of God, if you like to call it that. So there's a huge amount of energy available to us. But if we are self-mummified, we can't access that limitless, boundless energy. And our energy can come instead from coffee or adrenaline or chocolate or anxiety. Like we're constantly pushing ourselves to do better, to be more, to self-improve, to never be satisfied. But if we could just relax deeply, all of that mystery of being, all of that energy is limitlessly available. All we have to do is open our heart to it. But the proviso is, I call it the wisdom of flowers. So you see the sunflowers open up in the day, follow the sun, don't they? Bless. And at night they close down. So if you're in an environment with very hostile people, then the wisdom of flowers. If you're not skilled enough to transform kind of really negative or hostility, close down, protect yourself, the wisdom of flowers, so that you can be open in the right environment. So then you can like here, hopefully, is the creation of a safe space where you can feel safe and relaxed and open your heart and feel encouraged by shared humanity, this affiliative effect of people coming together. It's what we all yearn for, this feeling of connection, authenticity. So it's open heart, open mind. And how to have the open heart and open mind. And we will follow with this later on during the day. For now, we'll turn this off, and I'll invite questions or comments.